Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, Ken, thanks very much. Welcome to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call right here on Pittsburgh CW, 412-575-2600. That is always the number to call. Tweet us at KDPomp, at Gene Collier. We're here to talk sports with you until 11 o'clock, so call us. I also want to talk hot dog eating because Gene Collier once tried to do this. Gene, what was the most that you ever consumed in one?
Yeah, probably 3.
3? That's a good start. That's like spring training for most of those guys. I have a curious
relationship with this. There's something about hot dogs that I could eat one under almost any circumstance. Like,
I love them.
If I went to a 7-course meal, I told my friend Jerry, do like this many times. If I went to a 7-course meal and I was stuffed and I was walking out and somebody at the door had a tray of hot dogs, I would take one.
I think I would too. Do you know when they taste the best? Like, do you golf?
No.
Okay, well, they taste the best 9 holes into a round of golf.
Is that right?
Right at the halfway shack. Or at a baseball game.
The baseball game.
For some reason, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Humphrey Bogart used to say, when I used to talk to him all those years ago, a hot dog at the ballpark is like a steak at the Ritz.
It is. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Anyway, we digress. We're talking sports, but that's part of it, you know.
Why were we talking about that?
Competitive eating. I have no idea because we saw the video of Joey Chestnut stuffing his face again. I don't know if I'd want to be his doctor, however. Meantime, before we do anything else, Gene has another appearance coming up, and I'll give you the opportunity to talk about it. Where is it? When is it? And what can people do to get tickets?
Yeah, no, this is going to be fun. This is at the Pleasure Bar on Saturday night. It's during Little Italy Days, so there's a lot of foot traffic there. If you get tired of doing all that other stuff, stop into the Pleasure Bar. We'll start about 9 o'clock. Aaron Kleiber, Jason Clark, Holly Price, Joey Walsh, and me.
Wow, that's a big time down there. You're right. A lot of people check out Gene and the rest of those guys right down there at the Pleasure Bar. In the meantime, we would like to get your take on what's going on here. We'll begin with the Steelers, who had to kind of change their practice around, moved it back by an hour because of the rain. They only have one more day of this at St. Vincent College. The reason it's shorter this year is, of course, they play a Thursday night game on week 2. Normally it's a Saturday, and you get a couple of more days up there. But, Gene, it looks to me like the Steelers are trying to figure out all sorts of things on defense. Mike Tomlin talked today about these 7 defensive backs, this dollar defense they call it. It seems to be the way of the NFL. The Steelers aren't the first to do it, but they're figuring out that you need speed and sure-hand tackling ability, even if you're not bigger physically. As long as you can get to where you need to go and make a play, that's all they want.
My big issue with this, Bob, is what happened to the quarter defense, or as Ed Bouchette used to call it, the 2-bit defense. You went from the nickel back to the dime back, and now we've gone straight to the dollar back. There was nothing in between there. That's what I've got to get to the bottom of before I can analyze it.
Well, the way it's going, we're going to have the $1 million defense and then the Antonio Brown defense, even though he plays offense, because people will be using his finances to determine what they do out there. It's unbelievable how things have changed in the NFL, but that's what happens in this league, and we've seen it time and time again. It will be interesting to see when they do that which 4 guys are up front. I would imagine it's going to be Watt, Dupree, Hayward, and Tuitt, right?
Yep.
And then 7 defensive backs.
The 407.
The 407. I like that. All right, we'll also talk about the Pirates, who had a day off today, but this is one of the reasons why I didn't like what they did the other night. Not to belabor this point, because we've talked about it for quite a bit. Starting Clay Holmes, which was a predetermined decision based on the organization's belief that they were going to get pounded in Colorado, which they did not. In fact, Jamison Tyone pitched a complete game. In fact, Joe Musgrove went into the 7th inning, and they pitched very well, so they really didn't need that. Gene, your thoughts about that? Again, looking back, was it the wrong decision for them to make?
Well, in hindsight, it was. I mean, looking forward, the Pirates take a lot of pride in all the different ways they analyze not only stats but players and biorhythms, and the Pirates track every step everybody takes every day. They believe they can calculate how tired everyone is, especially pitchers, or even how tired they are likely to be. Now this went sideways. Do I want to criticize them necessarily for thinking this way? Usually baseball teams get criticized for not having any kind of foresight, any kind of analytics, so I think it's just one of those things that went sideways on them. I don't think they necessarily deserve any blame for it.
I do put blame on Clint Hurdle for sticking with Casey Sadler way too long in that game, and they were still in the game as it turned out. They scored 10, they gave up 13. I think if they had come through, you know, Sadler batted twice. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Clay Holmes batted once in that game, so that's 3 at-bats, and they came up with runners on scoring position on each and every time, and they just left them right there. So anyway, 412-575-2600. Coming up, it is a game with the Minnesota Twins. Later, they have very interesting homestand, 4 against the Cubs, 3 against the Braves. We'll talk to Gene about that. I'd like to get your calls as well. 412-575-2600. Also, let us know what you thought about Tiger Woods' PGA Championship and a 69% increase in television viewership the final round because Tiger was involved. It's all coming up next right here live on Pittsburgh CW.